Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to week 2, day 4 of Jesus, Joan, and Journal. And I'm excited that you are here with me today. If you're seeing me for the first time or you were sent this broadcast, my name is Dr. Joan T. Randall. I am the founder of Victorious You Press. We are a publishing services company. We help people write and publish their best-selling books for impact and influence, and then leverage those books to create multiple streams of income. And we are on week 2 of the summer series of Jesus, Joan, and Journal. Listen, if you haven't watched any of the episodes, I would advise you to go back and go to YouTube and watch it. I have some shorts on TikTok and it's all over my Facebook page, right? You know, now videos gets deleted after 30 days. So you still have some time to go back and watch the replays. But we have had, the last probably 4 days last week and 4 days now, 8 days of some really incredible conversations about legacy building for believers. And last week we talked all about mindset. This week we're talking about all things pen, all things writing, the power of writing and what it does from a spiritual perspective, from a biblical perspective. Everything I've spoken about so far has had scriptures to back up those points. I'm not just coming to you willy-nilly without proof. That's in the book. That's in the my favorite book in all of the world, right? And every day we have given you declarations, and every day we have given you a journal prompt for you to write a journal or speak or record, because it is meaningful in terms of building legacy. A lot of us don't have money enough to be able to say, I'm going to just leave money or assets or things like that as a legacy. But our stories, our books, our written words, the things that we do, how we support, how we move within our communities, all of those things are legacy building. Using our gifts, right, to help others, to serve others, all of that is considered legacy building. So if you are here, grab your pen, grab your coffee, grab your tea, and grab your journal. We don't do this without the journal, right? And I will be back in 44 seconds. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome. You know what? I'm going to stream this to my group page because I realize I've been doing that after the fact. So give me a second as I go to my group page, and I'm going to turn the volume all the way down so you won't hear any kind of feedback. But let me stream this to my group. Books to Business and Beyond. And I'm just going to say JJJ week 2 day 4. I also want to invite you tomorrow because I'll have a special guest tomorrow, Leslie Cottrell. She'll be on talking about her upcoming book that she will be launching at the end of this month. And I think it's called Legacy in Ink. Even the name, right? Legacy in Ink. Leslie will be launching that at the end of this month. Leslie is also our COO for Victorious You Press. So please go and support her. She's currently in pre-sale. So go find her page, Leslie J. Cottrell, and support her in her efforts. And her book is really about the writing process. So if you struggle with writing and you need a guide to help you with how you put things together, how you lay out your structure for your book, is going to be an incredible book for you. Now, let's get into our topic today, right? This week we've been talking about the power of the pen, and we have been talking about the art of writing, how legacy the legacy that comes from writing, right? That comes from when you write what you have experienced or what you are great at, or a how-to guide or a journal, or all the things, right? So today I want to talk about teaching through text. That's our topic for today, teaching through text. Tuesday and Wednesday, I shared with you books that people have written based on different reasons, right? And I'm going to do the same thing today. I just want to prove to you that there are so many different books that can be written based on your lived and learned experiences and the power that those books hold, right? So today I want to talk about teaching through text, and my scripture this morning is coming from Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7. As I said, everything there's spiritual backup. And Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7 says, "These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home," right? These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts, right? And this is the commandment that God gave to Moses. But what I really want to share with you, that you have your own standards of operating at home. You have your own rules. You have your own regulations, right? You have how you want your household to operate, right? And just like how there was a commandment given to Moses on how to relegate the existence of the children of Israel, it's the same thing you do in your household, right? So whatever those things are, right? You impress those things upon the hearts of your children, right? Like, you can't use certain words around adults, or there's a specific routine that you need to follow when you wake up in the morning. What do? You wash your face, you brush your teeth, right? Before you go to bed, what do? Before you eat, you say a prayer. Those things are things that it's almost like a commandment in your home. It's your command that you have for your household, right? So I don't want you to look at Deuteronomy 6, verse 6 and 7 as if it is something that happened 2,000 years ago. No, all of these things apply now, apply to our lives, apply to the lives of our family, apply to the lives of our children now, right? So I want to walk you through teaching through text, teaching through the commandments, teaching through what you want to impress upon the heart of your children, right? I keep talking about legacy. Legacy is what you leave for your generation and the generation after that, and the generation after that. Good morning, sis. Nice to see you. And the generation after that, right? So that is what, when I talk about legacy, that is what I'm talking about. What do you leave for those people that are connected to you, your bloodline, your generation? All right. So the first point I want to highlight today is what you teach becomes the foundation for the next generation. What you teach becomes the foundation for the next generation. You are not just raising children's. You are not just raising children. You are not just raising nieces and nephews. You are not just raising goddaughters and godsons. Good morning, Sister Wanda. You are not just raising godchildren, goddaughters, godsons. You are raising legacies. You are raising legacies. What do they see when they see you? What does the children, the grandchildren, the nieces, the nephews, the godchildren, right? The adopted children, the foster children, what do they see when they see you? Do they see a person that they want to embody, that they want to become? Do they see, you know, things that you do every day that makes them say, this is what I want to do? What do they see? Because you have to realize that children live what they learn. Children live what they learn. And it is called nurture. It is called nurture. So what is the nurture that you, the people that are closest around you, especially the next generation, what are they seeing? Are they seeing entrepreneurship? Are they seeing dedication? Are they seeing working hard? Do they see efforts? Do they see resilience? What do they see? If you are raising legacies, what can they take away from your actions? What you role model, the behaviors you role model. I'm telling you, if the role modeling is bad, more than likely the nurture is bad, because the children are going to say, this is what I saw. You know, there are times when I've spoken to people who, you know, I'm like, you know, you can use your book and turn it into a business. And they're like, I, nobody is in my family has ever had a business. I've never seen entrepreneurship. I've never seen anybody write a book. I've never seen anyone get a PhD. I've never seen anyone, you know, go the extra mile. I've never seen anyone go to church. I mean, it's incredible what you hear when you talk to people every day. And so because they didn't see it, they don't believe that they can be it. They don't believe that it belongs to them. Anything other than what they were raised in belongs to them. When we write and speak truth consistently, it becomes imprinted on the hearts of those we influence. When we speak truth to power, when we speak it consistently, even if it's difficult, when we speak truth consistently, it becomes imprinted on the hearts of those we influence, the people around us, those among us, children, grandchildren, godchildren, nieces, nephews. And I'm calling these names because not everybody is a mother, right? Hey guys, if you can hear me and see me well, just drop a yes in the chat. Let me know that you can still hear me, because I see like my internet is going in and out. So I just want to make sure I'm coming to you loud and clear. That would be fantastic. Every page you write, every lesson you teach, or every devotional you share becomes building blocks for faith. Every page you write, every lesson you teach, every time you stand up and talk, every time you do a Facebook Live, every time you do a devotional, you share. What you share becomes building blocks for faith. Man, I'm telling you, building blocks for faith. Don't underestimate the power of your written and spoken words to shape the culture of your home, your business, and your lineage. Sister Cheryl, if you're still here, can you tell me if you can hear me? Sister Wanda, let me know if you can hear me. Don't underestimate the power of your written and spoken words to shape the culture of your home, your business, and your lineage. And I want to bring to the stage a book that a very good friend of mine wrote, and it's called Stop Begging God for Money. And it's about a kingdom guide to stewarding your finances God's way. And this is by my very good friend, Dr. Lexi Johnson. And when I say, when what you teach becomes the foundation for the next generation, this is a fundamental basic fact about how to steward money. And the reason this was written, right, by Dr. Lexi Johnson is because there was a point in her life when she did not understand what stewardship of money meant, didn't understand what stewarding the finances meant, right? And so she found herself in a position where she was literally had no money, had no furniture in her apartment, nothing, right? There was a mindset that was a poverty mindset. There was financial bondage. There was mistakes that she made financially. She wasn't organized in budgeting. She didn't have the resources and the storehouse principle like in the Bible. And so she didn't even know about estate planning. She had no idea about generational wealth transfer. She didn't even know what estate planning meant, right? None of those things. And so she was just backpedaling and with a mindset of a lack mentality where money was concerned. And it took years for her to rebuild her financial stability and become financially healthy. That's the thing, right? Financially healthy. You don't have to have a lot of money to be financially healthy. Financially healthy just means you know exactly what needs to happen where your money is concerned, where your budget is concerned, where spending is concerned, where saving is concerned, where investing is concerned, where making sure you have a trust in place. Because let me tell you something, a will is one thing, but a trust is better, right? You can have a will all day, every day, but a trust trumps a will. So making sure that those things are in place for you and your family is key. And so this book, Stop Begging God for Money, is a kingdom guide to stewarding your finances God ways. All biblical principles. You can own the land. you can own the land. Do you own the land, right? That's the thing. Let me tell you something. It's one thing to have a home. It is one thing to have money in the bank. Listen, owning land is next level. Owning land, right? Do you own the land? Okay. And so this is what this book is about. And if you want to get a copy of Pastor Lexi's book, I'm going to just drop the link right here in the chat and you will be able to purchase a copy of her book. I put it in the wrong place. I'm so sorry. Let me go back up here and drop it right here in this chat. And you'll see pop up on the screen in a little bit. Dr. Lexi Johnson, and that's the link for her book. It is currently on Amazon. Point number 2 about teaching through text. Faith is meant, let me just remove this from the screen. Faith is meant to be lived out loud and written down. Faith is meant to be lived out loud and written down, which means if you have gone through some things and you came out and you survived it and you are thriving, it needs to be written. You got to tell somebody how you did it. How did you go from that thing to now? How did you overcame? What was the mindset of your level of resiliency, right? You are now thriving. How did you do it? Write it, put it in a book, right? So somebody else can have that as their guide to rinsing and repeating what you did. Faith is meant to be lived out loud and written down. Don't hide it, write it so others can benefit from it, right? Moses didn't just tell the people to obey. He told them to teach, to repeat, and to write. That's what Moses did. He didn't just say, obey me. Here is what I have. Here's the thing. Here is the laws. Here's the text. Here's the thing, all on the tablets, right? Teach it, repeat it, and then write it. Teach it, repeat it, write it. That is what Moses did. That was Moses. Good morning, Sister Hope. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, Chanel. Nice. Sister Teresa White. I'm so happy to see you. And so Moses told them to teach, to repeat, and to write. Kingdom instructions, it's not occasional. It is continual. You don't get to do kingdom. Good morning, Louis Bello. Thank you for joining. Kingdom instructions is not occasional. It is continual. It's not something you pause, right? When you're living a kingdom life, when you're as a kingdom citizen, and you don't pause it. It's not occasional. It's continual. Yeah, there are days when you might get up and, you're in a mood, or you're in a space, or there is a season that things are quiet, and that's all well and good, right? But kingdom instructions is not occasional. It is continual. You keep learning, you keep teaching, you keep empowering, you keep mentoring, right? Good morning, Dr. Laxley. So nice to see you. Faith legacy requires daily deposits of truth in word and in writing. Faith legacy requires daily deposits of truth in word and writing. If it's not true, don't write it. If it's a lie, don't even tell it. There's no legacy in lies. A lie cannot hold up. A lie cannot be a legacy. So faith legacy requires daily deposits of truth. So write the truth in word and in writing, right? What you say holds truth, but what you write holds power. What you say holds truth. What you write holds power, right? There is power, and there's truth and power in writing. That's the double whammy right there, right? Saying it is one thing. I may not remember all you say, but I'll never forget what you write. So you can tell me things over and over each day. I might pick up one thing from what you say, but when you write it and I have it and I can reference it, I will never forget it. That's the power of the pen. Your pen, your voice, your presence are all tools for discipleship. Let me tell you, you don't have to stand in a pulpit to disciple anyone. People can watch you and see you and observe your daily actions. And because of that, they can be discipled. They can accept Christ. They want to walk the same walk that you're walking just by your daily actions, just by showing up consistently, just by standing firm on what you believe, just by not unwavering. Because sometimes people tend to become like a chameleon, right? I'm just going to adjust based on where I am. So if I'm in a blue room, I'm going to be blue. If I'm in a red room, I'm going to be red. If I'm in a green room, I'm going to be green. If I'm in a white room, I'm going to be white. There's no truth in that. Yes, I understand flexibility. Yes, I understand knowing your audience and knowing how to behave around a certain audience, but you still have to be you authentically. So if you are blue, and I'm just using that as an example, right? It's not a color thing, but if you are blue in your truth, in your daily life, in every environment you go in, stand in that blue power. Because that is truth to power. Stand in it. That's who you are. You don't change. You walk in that room, you're held high, your head held high, and your shoulders back. And you are you in your authenticity, in who you are. Never change because you want to be in with the crowd. Never change because you want to be in with the crowd. You stand firm in your power of who you are. Yes, again, you got to know your audience. You got to know how to speak. You got to know when to speak. There are some environments that you go in that you don't even have to speak. You just Observe. Sometimes there are conversations at the table. You don't have to speak. You just listen, right? When you listen, you can pick things up, right? You know how many times I've been in a situation where I just listen and I observe and I realize this is not your place, Joan. And I say, excuse me, I'm going to the bathroom. And the bathroom is my escape because then I'm out. I am out. I am gone. And then there are environments that you're in where you are so comfortable being there because it's people that are like-minded and like-kind, right? Like-kind, like you, like-kind. And so you realize that if I open my mouth, I can contribute. I can contribute to this conversation. I can have an input in this conversation. I can serve in this conversation, right? That's how you stand in your power, not shaken and going back and forth. Your pen, your voice, your presence are all tools for discipleship. People will watch how you be, especially if you say you're a Christian, especially if you say you are Elder Joan or Pastor Lexi or Minister Angela. They watching. They watching because they're quick to say, oh, she called herself a Christian and this is what she doing. She called herself a Christian and she out here judging. Your presence, all tool for discipleship. I remember the first day I went to Elevation Church. Very first time. It was years ago. And I just had a need for being around a group of people. And I was in between churches at the time. And I walked into that place and I always judged because it was like, it's dark. I'm like, how you have church and the whole room is dark, right? Never understood the concept. That's why you never judge until you know, man. Do not judge until you know. And I walked into that room with my, I was in a bad place at the time. And I walked into the room and it was dark. It was dark during praise and worship. But I recognize that it's not so much the darkness, but what it does is give you a level of privacy to worship in your own little space. And nobody is watching you, right? Nobody watching you. So you feel safe to kind of worship in your little private space. Because sometimes when you go into the church, you know, you start to cry. You don't want everybody seeing you. So that's what I realized. And so there was this young lady on the stage. My God. She was worshiping. And in her worship, watching her worship is what drew me in to the presence of the Holy Spirit. Let me tell you, just watching her worship, the way she sang, the emotions on her face, the way she held her heart, the way she held the mic, her softness. There was one of the time when she literally knelt down on the floor. And let me tell you that, oh my, I still remember that moment. I broke. I didn't even have to hear Pastor Stevens Furtick preach a word. But that presence of that woman was the answer that I was needing. So when I tell you that your presence is a tool for discipleship, I know what I'm talking about because I've experienced it. I want to bring to the stage this book, When Wisdom Speaks, right? And this is a book that one of the participants of my March cohort wrote. And it talks about a self-care journal for women 50 and over. When I talk to you about faith is meant to be lived out loud and written down, she recognized that when you reach 50, there are things that kind of break down, right? There's things that kind. Good morning, Monica. Nice to see you. Thank you. I love a personal prayer. Absolutely, absolutely. And so she wanted people to know over 50 that there are certain things that you can do to change your physical being, your mind, body, soul, spirit, get out there and, get into clubs and into book clubs and social clubs and all the things. Like, life don't end at 50. Like, you just living. You're just living for you, because now you got kids and grandkids and you just start living for you, right? And what I love about this book was the title, When Wisdom Speaks, because when you get to a certain age, you are no longer wondering, how do I need to operate? You now have the wisdom of 49 years to be able to say, hey, this is how to operate. This is how you operate now. You're going through menopause. All the things are happening to you. Your body is changing. You're going, all the things, right? And so when I talked about faith is meant to be lived out loud, this is what I love about this book. And I have her link here. Her name is Regina Booker. And if you would like to grab a copy of her book, When Wisdom Speaks, a self-care guide for women over 50, I just dropped the link in the chat. You can go ahead and support her. I love to support my authors. Number 3, and I'm wrapping up soon. Your text can outlive your talk. I say that all the time, right? What you write is going to outlive what you say. I won't remember what you say next week, but I'll never forget what you write, because I'll always have your book as a reference, right? So spoken words may fade, but written words endure. Don't just pass on possessions, pass on principles. You hear what I'm saying? Don't just pass on possessions, pass on principles. And I want to bring another book to the stage. And this is from a very good friend of mine, Linda Sutton. And Linda Sutton wrote this book called Using the Secrets of the Dance, Two to Tango, to Create an Incredible Partnership, right? Husband and wife, best friend, sister. How do you take something like a dance? Your text can outlive your talk. How do you take something like a dance and use the principles, the 21 principles of the tango, to have an incredible relationship? This is what I'm saying all along, that your lived experiences, and Linda is a dancer, right? And she could have said to her, I don't have a book. Yes, Miss Linda, you do. Because as a professional dancer for all these years, she, not 21, 22, she looked at the 22 steps of two to tango. See how that rhymes? Two and two, two to tango, right? 22, right? The 22 steps of the tango, and learn how to build a sustainable relationship, a strong and powerful relationship, using the techniques by dance partner to create this beautiful, awe-inspiring dance and relationship. You notice when they're doing the tango, right? There is a leader and there is a follower, and then it switches, right? And there is this beautiful partnership that happens in the tango. And so she created an entire guide how to build and sustain an incredible relationship using the 22 steps of the dance, the tango. Powerful, right? And if you would like to get a copy of Miss Linda's book, just to support her, or, understand what this book is saying, there's also ebooks there as well. I just dropped her link in the chat as well, right? And so as I wrap up today, I want to say this: what you teach today becomes the testimony of tomorrow. What you teach today becomes the testimony of tomorrow. I want to leave you with a declaration, which I've been doing every day since this summer series of Jesus, Joan, and Journal, right? Every day you have a declaration. Partnership is important. Yes, sir. Partnership, importance with self and others. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you said that. Thank you so much. Minister Hope says, this is awesome. I just spoke with Linda Sutton yesterday evening. I love her. She's amazing, right? And so all good things. And so here's your declaration for today, which I want you to write, right? My words are seeds of wisdom for generations to come. That's what I want you to declare today. My words are seeds of wisdom for generations to come. But I said before, when you speak it, they will take one or two things away from what you speak. But when you write it, they'll never forget what you say. For generations to come, third and fourth and fifth generation to come, your word in ink will be history. Your word in ink will be legacy. And as I wrap up today, I want to give you a journal prompt. Remember, this is Jesus, Joan, and Journal. So every day I give you a journal entry. Listen, I know half of you are not going to do it. I know some of you, I know majority of you may never even write anything I've said since last Monday for your journal prompt, but that's okay. I'm being obedient to what God is requiring me to do. So every day I'm going to give you a journal prompt, whether you write it or not. I can say, Father, I was obedient, right? So let me take my obedience and let me do it. Here's your journal prompt for today. What key lessons of faith principles do you want your children, your mentees, or your future readers to remember? What key lessons or faith principles do you want your children, your mentee, your future readers, your grandchildren, your godchildren, your nieces and nephews to remember? Write that, whatever that is. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for being a part of Jesus, Joan, and Journal Day 4. And remember, tomorrow I have my COO on talking about her book, Miss Leslie Cottrell. And last but not least, before I go, if you're watching me right now or watching me later or watching me next month or next year, I want to invite you to our ministry's new Bible study series. It's called Ignite Bible Academy. It's every Thursday at 7 p.m. We just finished the book of Revelation. And let me tell you, man, it blew my mind. Blew my mind. It was always a book I was afraid of, but no longer afraid of the book of Revelation because it is powerful and signs of what is in the book of Revelation is already happening. So I'm so glad that I was able to do that deep dive study with my apostle. So tonight we start a whole new series. We're starting People of the Bible, and we're starting with the first family tonight. So it's free. You don't have to be a part of our ministry. You just have to come, but you have to register. It is very, very important that you register for the class tonight. So if you want to be a part of our Bible study tonight, I'm going to drop the link right here again. And it's click on the link, right? And join us for Bible study. I promise you, your life is going to change. Your life is going to change because the way my apostle teaches the word of God is next level. All right. So join us tonight. I dropped it in the chat. Ignite Bible Academy. I love you to life. Thank you so much for rolling with me this morning. For everyone who came through, even if it was just for a moment, thank you for being here. And I will see you all tomorrow at 8 a.m. for another episode of Jesus, Joan, and Journal, the summer series. Tomorrow would be week 2, day 5. God bless you. Take care. Have a good morning.